Access to the Monte Zone will be granted shortly. Please stand by.
It's Friday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the Monte Zone.
Yay! Studio audience, yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, Monte.
Hello, G-Star. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I am very good, sir. So yeah, we're back for our February Monte Zone, our monthly, the second of season 3, I think we're calling it now.
The power of psychic.
The power of psychic thinking. Yes.
Oh, on that note, new camera.
New camera, yeah. Let us know what you think of G-Star. Is G-Star looking better? Can I turn G-Star? I've unfortunately from my side he's on maximum. Can you turn yourself up at all, G?
I will try to endeavour to do so.
What I can do is I can turn myself down a little bit. There you go. I'll turn myself down a little bit and see if you guys want to turn up your... There you go. Hopefully, yeah. Do you want to try speaking?
Hey, hi.
Yeah. I don't know if that's any better.
Is that any better? Let us know if that's any better.
Let us know, yeah.
I don't think it'll allow me to access microphone access on. I don't know where I do the volume.
Yeah, it's in sound somewhere. Oh, I've turned myself down so it's more balanced, so they can just turn their own speakers up. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
That should be a bit better anyway.
Yes, more balance, she's saying. So
more, yeah.
All good.
Oh, well, okay. That's good. That's good.
Yes. Where were we?
So we're here talking about psychics. And
no, we were talking about my camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, my birthday present from Monte and Smiler.
Yes, I got you a camera just as you sort of fixed your own camera. But you know, It's a better option, isn't it?
It's better. I like having my iPad back for watching the stream and everything, chatting to you guys. Mickey said, "Can see a few extra greys,
Aliens
aliens, or on Monty's face,
or hairs. Not my camera, your camera. You can't see any more grey
What, you're
hair
saying
on
that
mine because I'm just
saying
all
high
grey.
definition is making me look more grey."
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah, you can see the definition of the wrinkles now. That's the problem.
Thanks. Yeah, I haven't got the beautify option that I have with all my Apple devices.
No,
I bet I'm
it's not like
looking rough.
TikTok, is it?
This is the real me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like the stream. Let's get started early with those lovely, lovely likes, those thumbs up. And I couldn't see my own hands in the camera then. That was weird. Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, all those good things. So I think we're going to go through a history of psychic powers.
Yes.
The different types of psychic powers that are out there.
Let's talk about the agenda for this
Yeah.
evening, shall we? So, going to start with a bit of a breakdown of the psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Look, actually, before we get into all of that, Monty, did you find this one particularly hard to research and get your head into?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. And when you get your head into it, it's absolutely massive, and
Yeah.
that's the problem.
It is.
So we might have to break this down to like some future episodes where we come back to the subject.
Well, I think that's what we do, though, isn't it? When we first touch on a subject, we kind of give a general overview of the whole thing, talk about some of the biggest points, and then work out with the audience what we think's the most interesting parts, and then maybe a future episode then do a deep dive into those particular areas.
Exactamundo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this evening's agenda, I'm gonna kind of give you guys a bit of a breakdown of what is included in psychic, and you'll see how large it is. There will be stuff that I will
That's what she
probably
said. Oh,
come
sorry.
across. Oh my god! Can you do that wind sound?
Sorry. Yeah, that's.
Go on, do it, please.
Yeah, sorry. There you go.
Anyway, so where was I? You just totally.
Sorry,
taken me
I
off.
derailed you. You were talking about large things.
Yeah. So you'll see how immense it is. The subject I'm talking about, not the shalong. And then you'll kind of get. There'll be things that I'll cover that you'll definitely have gone, do you know, I've heard about that before. I know quite a bit about that. And then there's going to be other stuff that I'm going to mention that you're going to probably be like, that's weird, never heard of that. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of a guess at what's sort of next, or giving your description of what you think it is. But anyway, Monty, if you want to start sharing,
We've also got a quiz, or we've rather than a is it real or fake game this evening, we've got a kind of test your psychic powers game.
Yes, that's what we're going to be doing. Thank you for reminding me. We're basically going to be doing a bit of a test on, well, I'm going to be doing a test on Monty and you guys. You guys can join in as well. But what you will need is a pen and paper.
Oh God. Oh well,
Yeah.
hopefully Smiler Rain. I've got my Picard crystal. I can't really write with that, but
Everybody's going to have to keep a note of their own answers. This is going to replace real or fake. It's going to feel a little bit like real or fake because there's photos to go along with it, but it should be fun. Should be a good giggle. And then so that's going to come either before we go through the history of psychic or after.
right.
And then I'm about now to introduce you to the world of psychic and what psychic exactly means and how you break down all the different categories of psychic. And if you want to share that presentation that I had.
Yeah, sorry. A pen and paper has just magically appeared.
Cheers, Mickey. Mickey says he's messaged Karen to remind her.
Yeah.
So, The first one that comes up on the list under psychic is astral projection, or mental projection. The ability to voluntarily project an astral body or mental body, being associated with the outer body experience, in which one's consciousness is felt to temporarily separate from the physical body. Okay, so we're going to be going through this alphabetically. I've just realized that I've got to change the slide.
It should be like a little arrow to the right. There you go.
That should have come up. So the next one that we're talking about, if I can get back to the stream, is atmokinesis.
I was going to say, good luck saying this one, G.
Atmokinesis.
Atmokinesis, right.
Yeah, the ability to control the weather, such as calling rainfall or storms. A bit like Storm in X-Men.
I'll have to be honest, I've never heard of that one.
Well, that's the kind of people that walk around with the rods, the metal rods as well. I think that's what they kind of fall under, the ability to control weather, such as calling rainfall or storms, or being able to detect water and elements like that. So, yeah, that's the next one. Right. Have you guys, so this is where you can get involved in chat, have you guys ever heard of bilocation? What do you think, Monty, bilocation is?
How do you spell it?
B-I-L-O.
Cation.
C-A-T.
Bilocation. You can be in two places at once.
Oh, sorry. I'm having a bit of a problem with my PC. It's not playing friendly with me. Here we go. Right, let's have a look. Oh, no. I missed out automatic writing. Sorry, apologies. I jumped ahead.
Is that when someone just sits like at a table and then puts themselves into like a Zen place and lets their subconscious take over and draw and write whatever?
Pretty much, yeah. Automatic writing can fall in that category of everything that you just mentioned there, or it can fall into the category of like mediums as well.
Right.
When they're in like trance and connected to the spirit world, they can write and draw messages from the other side, basically. So that's automatic writing. But we were meant to actually have bilocation. And what did you say you thought it was?
Bilocation, like being in two places at once?
Yeah, bilocation. The ability to be present in two different places at the same time, usually attributed to a saint.
Ah. So yes, some of these things started in sort of Christianhood, I suppose.
Yes. So this is one for Smiler. The next one, let us know in chat as quickly as you can, Smiler, what you think this one is. The next one is energy medicine. What do you think energy medicine is?
Energy medicine. Don't know. Also, someone who might know is Karen. Good evening to Karen as well. Mickey's on and Karen's on. She's watching us on the small TV. Oh.
Awesome. Evening.
Yeah.
What do you reckon it is, Monty?
What was it again?
Medicine. Energy medicine.
Is it like Reiki?
What do you mean, like Reiki? Like us?
Well, like spiritual healing, you know, like, or like having like crystals like this one nearby and have the energies coming off it affecting me in a way.
Coming up on the screen.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of that thing, isn't it? Spiritual energies. I suppose also, yes, using your own energies to direct your own energies in a positive way. So a lot of things that sort of Karen does really in a day-to-day thing.
Yep. All comes under psychic. All of these are areas of psychic. So you can see already, and I'm only about a third of the way through. The next one.
I totally did just nick Smile of Rainbow's answer of Reiki. So, I don't know. That's what Smile of Rainbow says. I went with it.
This is one that you've probably not heard of before. Ergokinesis. Ergokinesis is the ability to influence the movement of energy, such as electricity, without direct interaction.
I guess that's actually Reiki, isn't it? Because isn't Reiki you're sort of directing energies that are around you into a person?
To do with your,
or you're extracting the energies? You don't actually touch the person, do you?
Yeah. Well, no, you don't.
No.
That's what I mean. Like, yes, you're right. I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not an expert. I've never really had the experience.
No. If anybody knows what ergokinesis, whether it's energy flows. With Reiki, energy flows through you to the client. So yes, I think that does describe ergokinesis. Thank you, Karen.
Right, the next one, everyone will pretty much, you'd be able to guess what it means by the word, but levitation or transvection, the ability to float or fly by mystical means.
Transvection, again, another new word.
Well, Wordspell certainly didn't recognize it. So, next one, materialization, the creation of objects and materials or the appearance of matter from unknown sources. Can you think of when that's being used in?
I don't know. Does anybody else know? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Is that like Jesus turning blood to wine, or that's that sort of thing?
Feeding of the feeding of the 5,000?
Yeah, with one bread, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah. So the psychic, obviously, has quite interestingly some sort of, quite a bit of connection to
the food replicators. Yeah, that's one way, Mickey.
Religion or faith is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Next one, quite a common one, mediumship or channeling, the ability to communicate with spirits. So that's one that probably everyone's familiar with, and the most common kind of when people think of psychic, I guess, mediumship, that's where all your tarot card readers and fortune tellers sit under. Petrification, the power to turn a living being into stone by looking in the eye.
Oh, like Medusa.
Yes, I guess, from mythology, you can make that connection, but yeah, still seems to be. I mean, all of these I have sourced from Wikipedia, believe it or not. So
I believe it. Karen says the materialization is when you bring energies into form. So it is like a matter of energy replicator.
I guess so. Prophecy, again, is one that we'd all be pretty familiar with, but also classified as prediction, premonition, or prognostication, the ability to foretell events without using induction or deduction from known facts.
Nostradamus.
Correctamundo. Falls under the category of psychic. Psychic surgery. The ability to remove disease or disorder within or over the body tissue via an energetic incision that heals immediately afterwards. Let us know in chat, Karen, if you do any psychic
surgery. An energetic incision. So that this is not just like you're transferring energies or taking bad stuff. This is you're actually like you're making an incision. Oh,
yeah. I guess this is used a lot in.
Oh, okay. Is that a part of form of Reiki? Is it then? Sorry, I'm talking to Karen. I need to. Where's my thing? Right. There you go. Put chat up on the screen. There you go. Hello, chat. Yes, you can do psychic surgery in Reiki form. So it is like it's one of the things you can do in Reiki. I guess it's like a doctor, you know. Sometimes a doctor's just treating a wound. Sometimes they have to actually get right in there and, mess about with something inside.
Yeah, I guess this one you see a lot on in things like American churches where you see like these, preachers and they do healing as well, and they hold on to people's heads and they they say they've got some sort of disease or disorder and they miraculously heal them.
Yeah.
That again, I think would fall under that psychic surgery element. Let's have a look at what the next one is. See if psychokinesis is the next one, or telekinesis, as it's sometimes known. The ability to influence a physical system without physical interaction, typically manifesting as being able to exert force, control objects, and move matter with one's mind.
Use the force.
Yes. Use the force, Luke. Easy one to probably guess at. What do you think pyrokinesis is?
Manipulate fire?
Pyrokinesis, yeah,
Heat.
the ability to control flames, fire, and heat. Using one's mind. Yeah.
Fire. Da-na-na.
And what do you think idhi is?
What? How do you spell it?
IDDHI. What is idhi?
Something about your soul? Something about...
Just wait a little bit. Flame on, Mickey says.
Flame on. Karen says that to be able to activate yourself in your hands and get into the areas with that energy surgery thing, you have to be a Reiki qualified master. Or trained under a Reiki qualified master.
Right, well, I want to let everybody know what idhi is. Physical abilities gained through Buddhist meditation.
Karen knew.
So Buddhism features quite heavily in the world of psyche as well, and it won't be the last time it pops up. Next one. Everybody's heard of this one before. Shape-shifting or transformation, the ability to physically transform the user's body into anything. And that is very popular in the world of, we did an episode about it, something night, what are they called, from the farm in the US. Oh, we did a whole episode on it.
Yeah, I know. I forgot what they're called. The wolf people.
Yeah. Those ones.
Well, werewolf. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't werewolf. That wasn't. But there's another one.
It's believed to take many forms, but
like the chupacabra. No, it's not that either.
No, that's in South America.
That's another thing.
Right. Okay.
The wolf people. Put it that way.
Oh, Mickey should know. I don't know why I'm having such a blank. Because Skinwalker.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Did you think of Walker Ranch and then it got you there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Who can explain how my brain works?
I don't know.
Yeah, right. The next one. Thoughtography.
Thoughtography.
Yeah.
Capturing what you're thinking on a photograph.
I guess, yeah. The ability to impress an image by burning it on a surface using one's own mind only. So I guess, the film of a camera. I know that there was a lot of stuff done around the 60s and 70s with like Polaroids and psychic, that was quite popular.
Yeah.
There was people that felt they could make stuff appear on those images because they kind of came out white first, and you sit there and watch them develop, wouldn't you? And I think there's quite a bit of stuff.
When you were talking about pyro thing a minute ago, Sean said, I once knew a lad who threw fire. That's what he called it anyway, but it turned out he was just spreading the clap around.
Uh, that rolling tweed thing again. So, no. He had a girlfriend once. She turned into a beast with three backs. That was the end of it.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Right, next one.
Sorry,
It's fine.
I just
Uh,
couldn't help myself.
the next one, xenoglossy. What do you think xenoglossy is?
Do you know? I thought there was going to be like 2 or 3 different types, and I really didn't think it was going this far.
I know. I told you. I warned everybody at the beginning. This is a massive. Like you could see how you could just go on forever going into this subject because already in chat a lot of people have like made connections how they appear in certain practices that we do nowadays. The world of the psychic is kind of quite embedded in modern culture.
So what was it?
The next one was xenoglossy. There's only 2 more left, so we're almost there.
Xenoglossy.
Yeah.
Is that something? I honestly I don't know. I can't begin to.
Xenoglossy, the ability of a person to suddenly learn to write and speak a foreign language without any natural means, such as studying or research, but that is often rather bestowed by divine agents.
Oh.
Now, I can think of somewhere where xenoglossy appears quite a lot in another realm of the paranormal, and that is reincarnation. There's a lot of examples if you look into a lot of cases of reincarnation, because a lot of documented and publicized cases have been found in obviously children, and these children that have been highlighted have had this ability to either speak foreign languages when it's not a country that they're from, or they can say certain foreign words, or they can talk about and describe locations in other areas of the world where they've never been before.
Wow.
And I would guess that would fall under xenoglossy, a sort of psychic.
Okay.
So yeah, that's that one.
Again,
And then
Karen knew it straight away.
yeah. Next one, witnessing.
Witnessing a crime.
Witnessing. The gift of being visited by high-profile spiritual beings such
Oh.
as Mary, Jesus, or Akala from the Buddhist traditions.
Right.
So I guess that would fall under, because you have witnesses that are Jehovah Witness,
Yeah.
and they primarily call themselves witnesses.
Right.
Yeah. So again, another quite strong religious connection, but witnesses. Now the last one. Got to guess at this one. This is the last one.
Right.
In Idia.
How you spell it?
In INEDIA.
Yeah. No.
I
Don't know.
INEDIA.
Oh. Still don't know.
Okay. The ability to survive without eating or drinking.
Oh, like those monks do.
Yes. Or like fasting and things like that. So, but cases where people have seemed to have the ability, like what's his face? He puts himself in like cages and stuff.
I guess you can just draw energy from around you, and that's enough to sustain you. So it wouldn't be enough to sustain me. I mean, but people can do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Living off of sunlight energy, Karen says. That's a good way of putting it. Like a flower.
Yes. So now, just to finish off the journey into covering all the categories of psychic, the last one, extrasensory perception, like obviously then in itself has quite a substantial breakdown. I'm just going to quickly read them out. I haven't got any slides. It's kind of like a sixth sense, if you like, but under this category falls clairvoyance, divination, which is the ability to gain insight into a situation using occult lists. Dowsing, the ability to locate water, like I was talking about earlier on, sometimes using a tool called dowsing rods. Dream telepathy comes under extrasensory perception, the ability to telepathically communicate with another person through dreams.
At least you didn't say telepathetically, like I keep doing.
Dermo-optical perception, the ability to perceive unusual sensory stimuli through one's own skin. Psychometry or
psychometry.
Psychometry or psychosophy. I can't even say it. We'll go with the first one. The ability to obtain information about a person or an object by touch. Precognition. We all know what that is. The ability to perceive or gain knowledge about future events. One that I'm going to be talking quite a bit about this evening, remote viewing. And that's the ability to see a distance or unseen target using extrasensory perception. And then retrocognition or postcognition, the ability to supernaturally perceive past events. And last but not least, telepathy, the ability to transmit or receive thoughts supernaturally. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the world of psychic.
Karen, what's scrying? Can you just give us a thing of what scrying is? I don't know. Karen's typing it out right now. Go on, G. What's next?
That's it.
That's it. Oh, right.
Well, that's
a lot.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Hand in water bowl and reading energy that way. Oh, right. It's like when someone says, "I feel it in the water." Is that what that means? Yeah, it's not the song from Only Fools and Horses. No. Quieing.
Did you say it's like
squatting?
I think Karen said it's like holding a piece of jewelry or personal items and give readings by connecting to it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Is that an answer to what you asked, or?
It might be. Yeah.
Yeah, I would also consider that like a form of channeling as well.
It's when I guess when you touch something and you can take some energy from it. Tells you something about the object.
But anyway, so getting on to the next area of discussion, we were going to talk a little bit about history. Now, obviously, later on in the show, if anybody wants to come on, if anybody, we've just covered quite a vast area of the powers of psychic. But if you've ever had any experience with any of those areas, directly or indirectly, however paranormal, let us know in chat, or if you want to come into the studio and, chat about your connection with it or your feelings on it, by all means do that. The great old Monte, didn't mean to say great old Monte, the great Monte has just shared that in chat. So yeah, you can use that link to come and join us if you want to have a discussion. This is a safe place to do so, no judgment, and talk about any experiences you've had. But what the next section we were going to go on to is talking about a bit of history in psychic. Now, I guess this is where the whole episode for me came to light, and the idea of delving into this subject. Wish I hadn't. Because it's huge, and just going through all of that put me off. Where do I even start? But I guess what I wanted to look at is I was kind of loosely aware that there had been some possibilities that there'd been quite a lot of official, military, government-driven experiments and tests on people throughout the last 100 years. In the area of psychic. Some of those tests voluntary, some of them not so voluntary. But But what got me interested in thinking of that is that, a lot of this examinations and tests would have required things like military budgets and government funding. So if you've got militaries and governments funding sort of research and tests into the psychic, then you kind of got this sort of almost where they're saying that there's some credence to all of this psychic paranormal area, or else why are they spending taxpayers' money on researching it and doing tests and examinations? So I thought that in itself is kind of quite interesting. So I wanted to look at the history of where all of this kind of experimenting and testing was born from. What are you laughing at? I can see you're reading something.
Just reading chat, and Karen can't come on because she's in her PJs with a glass in her hand. But Mickey says, "Don't worry, we're all friends here. It's only the internet."
yeah. Just before I, excuse me, I'm still struggling with the illness a little bit.
Yeah.
Before I go into the next section, just again, don't forget to like the stream.
Good evening, Andy.
Awesome.
Good
Yes,
evening,
you
sir.
finally made it. Evening, sir.
Good evening.
So yeah, I was going to delve into now. It's kind of a bit blurred where kind of the examinations and the testing into psychic really began.
Nazis.
Well, yes, kind of like I'm going to talk a little bit about the Nazis, and then I'll go through the Russian sort of element to it as well. Because
They don't. YouTube doesn't like you saying that word, though. We should have probably come up with a code word for it.
Oh dear.
No. Anyway.
Oh, no.
No.
But before I go into the next bit, I just do want to say, I think I did have a couple of images, but they're not graphic images. Let me just see if I can find my. Oh, need to open them first. Excuse me. Talk amongst yourself, Monte.
Well.
I'm joking.
Well, okay. I was going to say.
Go on.
It was Himmler, wasn't it? So he was the Nazi that conducted all of the scientific experiments during World War II, especially into different psychic abilities and things. And he had this. It was all a part of like creating the super race, the super Aryan race.
Yes. So I was going to say that part of what they were doing. Now, the biggest area that Nazis come up in throughout World War II and Auschwitz and all of that is within this obsession with twins. And like you were just saying, part and parcel of that can be to do with the Aryan race and eugenics and them trying to manipulate genetics. But a great deal of it also was to really study the elements of remote viewing in terms of the twins being able to. So what I was going to say is that I'm about to read out an insert, and it's got some if you kind of don't like the torture and stuff like that, and this kind of stuff that the Nazis did, then maybe just turn the volume down.
Viewers' discretion is advised.
Yeah.
We are going to get to the CIA, Andy. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. So first of all, just an example story within the Nazis' obsessions with twins. So there was two twins by the name of Eva and Miriam that had just become subjects of a massive inhumane medical experimentation program at Auschwitz. They were picked out from the crowd as they were queuing. They got ripped away from their mother, who they never ever saw again. The program aimed solely at thousands of twins and many of them children. It was led by physician Joseph Mengele, who you were talking about earlier on. Monte, was that who you were saying?
No, I was.
I
was actually talking about Himmler. Is it Himmler? Yeah, Himmler. He was the kind of guy that headed it all up, but he had a number of doctors under him that were carrying it out. But I think that guy you just mentioned there, I think he was one of the worst, wasn't he?
Yeah, originally I did have some photos of these individuals and stuff, but I didn't have any graphic photos, but I forgot to save them down, so it'll take me too long to find them, so I'm just going to bypass that for the minute. Um, but yeah, so Eva and Miriam were put into this added as unwilling medical subjects to experiments that exposed about 3,000 children at Auschwitz to disease, disfigurement, and torture under the guise of medical research into illness, human endurance, and more. Twins were separated from the other prisoners during the massive selections that took place at the camp's massive train platform and whisked off to the laboratory to be examined. Mengele usually used one twin as a control and subjected the other to everything from blood transfusions to forced insemination, injections with diseases, amputations, and murder. Those that died were dissected and studied. Their surviving twins were killed and subjected to the same scrutiny.
Awful. That's awful. I will say, on a lighter note, Karen is backstage. I can see her lovely face grinning at me back from backstage. Should we bring her on? Do you want to see Karen? So that's no chat. Shall I bring Karen on? Should I do it? Yes, I'm gonna do it. She's saying no. There you go. This is Karen, everybody. Hey.
Hi, Karen. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Lovely to see your voices and faces.
Same here. Great to see you.
You could have done without the camera and just remote viewed yourself into my studio.
Well, I did think about doing that, but no.
How are you doing, my lovely?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Just gutted I missed out last night on Fortnite because guess what? We had a psychic night round here.
I know.
Wow.
You even, am I okay to say you even gave Smiler Rainbow a reading remotely?
We did, yes, and that was WhatsApp, not dialing in remotely, I hasten to say.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And that was the second one this week. I did another one on Tuesday, so it's been a double bubble this week, which has been lovely.
Nice.
So how many people are involved in that?
I think there was 20 in total. I think, yeah, about 20.
Wow.
Yes. So.
And these are people from all different walks of life who.
They are basically friends, different groups of friends, because obviously I couldn't fit all the friends around in one night, and it gets a bit chaotic. So yes, so basically 2 lots of friends, and they all had little mini readings. So yes, so yeah, good night, really good night. But I will be doing some more sessions, but I will do that via my business as well when that's sorted out. So I'll be doing some for clients because I know some of my clients are definitely interested in the psychic night. So yeah, that's the plan moving forward.
Cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So one of the things, just I know we're interrupting G Star there mid flow. Sorry, G.
Sorry, G.
But one of the things you were saying is you have tried remote viewing in the past.
Yes.
How did that go?
Right, very successful. Okay, give you a bit of background. Basically, I had some friends that when I used to live up in Sutton, and I was very close to them. And I was based in West Sussex in a place called Coldwatham at the time it was. And if you're looking at that journey, it's probably about an hour and a half by car. And I was talking to that person on the phone, and I basically remote travelled all the way. Literally, the whole journey was in like a millisecond, so I could almost see the whole drive that I would take up the I've even forgotten the roads at the time, all the way through to their house. And their house wasn't a simple house; it was an old Victorian semi-detached house, and it had it was 2 flats, 3 levels. So that person, and this was before the days, I hasten to add, of mobile phones, WhatsApp, video, anything like this. This is quite a few years ago. That person could have been in the ground floor flat out of 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, and on the second flat, which was upstairs in the top floor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 rooms. So it's a big place.
That's big house.
Yeah. And I didn't know where they were. I was talking to them on the phone, but I went in and I actually searched the house, and it was really bizarre because I went in on the ground floor, and I went in. As you walk in, I looked at the bathroom. Obviously, thankfully, it wasn't in the bathroom. The bedroom, the living room, the kitchen, the hallway. No, then I went up this outside upstairs, and then did the other rooms, and then I found them in the kitchen, and they were actually sitting on the phone. I was able to describe everything around. They had the phone in left-hand side like this. They were rolling a dubious cigarette, I hasten to add. They had their foot on a stool. Around them, they had their, I call it smalls, washing that come out the tumble dryer. So that was like underpants and socks. And I was describing everything around that. And the friend that I was talking to was would love something like this, was very in tune to this type of thoughts and psychic side and openness, very, very spiritual in his own way. And when I started describing what was going on, even to where his mug was positioned, what mug it was, I think I even described what was on the mug. And it just was like I was sitting there scanning the room, and all of a sudden, boof, the barrier came down. He put the shutters down on me. I freaked him out way too much. And he just like, what did you do? How did you do that? I said, I don't know. I just did it. And it was really bizarre. So yeah, I can do it, and I know I can. But I choose not to, because I also feel it's a bit of an invasion of privacy, if you can understand that.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that whilst he's looking at his computer late at night.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just that. With anybody, I think you've got to respect the privacy aspect. So the doors.
Do you think the other person's got to be willing for it to happen, or be more unaware?
I think on this case he would have been willing, but he was unaware, which is why I believe that it can. I definitely believe it can be done, which is why the military were doing it, and successfully. There's been a lot of evidence that they've done it. Many occasions it's been documented with various things. So yes, I think that it's like anything. It's a skill that can be developed, but I think you have to treat it very carefully as well. It could be used and abused, and that's not how I would work anyway.
Did you have to do any special? Do you have to do any special preparations to like build up to get into it, or like meditation beforehand?
No, I was literally, honestly, there was nothing. I hadn't drunk anything. I hadn't smoked anything. Not that I did, and there was nothing untoward. I was just having this conversation, and there was a connection of friendship there anyway. And I do it on occasions, like if I'm just checking in on someone's okay, but I do it from a slightly different point of view. So say, for instance, I've got a couple of friends that are going through a lot of things, and I'll sort of like check in that they're okay, but I won't go into their space. So I know that they're okay by sort of going to where they are, and I will check it out from an energetic level rather than a physical level, which was what I did in this case. But yeah, it was really, even it shocked me, I have to say, but I was doing nothing. There was no meditation. It was just like a normal Wednesday, Thursday night chatting on the phone to your mate, like you're doing now, but without the videos. But literally everything I described around them, and that's when all of a sudden the barrier came down. It was like someone putting the shutters down on a shop. It was like, and he was just like, I spooked him. I totally spooked him. He's like, how the hell did you do? What did you do? And I was like, I don't know. I just did it.
Stealth Andy Steeth in live chat says, can you do him? Can you feel him? Yeah, I think he's quite keen.
No, you're putting me on the spot at the moment. There's too many distractions going on at the moment. Yeah. I would have to quieten my mind, because Monte, I know I've got the connection there with you, Smiler. I've met you before, G, so there's a connection there. I don't know your layout, G, which would probably be an advantage in a way of your place. But I could quite easily hop into Monte's house, because I know the layout and it's very familiar. So at the moment, no, I wouldn't be able to go into him at the moment, because I'd have to come off, chill out, just quieten my mind, and do something like that. and probably to be fair, talking to them, at least having that, because I've never met, what was his name again? Sorry.
Stealth Andy Steeth, I think.
Still Sandy Steve.
Yes, yeah.
So I haven't met him, and for me, I'm about energy and I'm about connection. So having that energetic connection for me is what. Whereas I think some people would work differently. They would work on a different.
Plus, Mickey says, don't you have to pay for that kind of feel from you? So... I don't know what he's trying to say there.
I don't know what you're saying.
What's he saying, Mick? What are you implying there, mate?
Trust Mickey.
Trust Mickey. I think Mickey needs to come on. He's had many experiences, actually on a won't go into details if Mickey wants to share. I know that he has some experiences where I've spoken to him and I've picked stuff up around him whilst having a conversation. If he wants to share that, he can share that.
All right. Well, we'll let Mickey either put it in chat.
I'm putting you on the spot, Mickey. You're missing out on your brownie as well. He was most unhappy. I had some brownies left over from last night, so he missed the brownie last night and another one today.
Everyone loves a brownie.
Psychic treats.
Yeah.
Definitely. And talking about doing anything like that on a psychic level, it can be very draining. It really can be very draining for you if you don't know how to manage your own energies and if you don't know how to protect and cleanse yourself, because you're dealing with other people's energy and other people's negativity, sort of difference and things, and they can drain you. So it's really important if you go into anything like this that you learn how to protect yourself, shield yourself, cleanse yourself and ground yourself. It's like mediums that go into transfiguration, where a spirit will come into their physical body and the spirit will talk through them, so their voice can change, their face will change. It's a very physical form of a psychic reading, and can play quite detrimental to their health as well, of that human.
And Andy's asked us to tell you that the red book on the right has moved.
Red book?
Red book on the right? Yeah, on your right. I don't know. I don't know.
I've got no books up on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's my crystal orbs.
I have Smiler Rainbow, one of Smiler Rainbow's crystals on my desk.
That would give me plenty of happy.
Smiler's given me a stone before, but that's in the house. It's not down with me in the cabin.
Yeah, and likewise with your crystals, you need to make sure you cleanse them and recharge them as well, because they are energy and they will absorb energy. So cleansing your crystals, take them out, put them under the cold water tap or some hot soapy water. You can cleanse them under sound, like sorry, it's my bedtime thingy to say bedtime.
It's your bedtime.
On the phone. No, it isn't. It just gives me a wind down time. Yeah, you can cleanse them with sound. You can cleanse them with breath. You can cleanse them with smoke, like an incense. So it's really important that if you're working with energy, you cleanse yourself. You cleanse the things that you're using around you, because that will hold on to things. Yeah. So, and then recharge them by putting them under the full moon.
Yeah.
So a lot of the crystals charge up under the full moon. But things like carnelian are a sunshine one, so pop the carnelian under the sunlight and it will recharge that way.
Yeah, Smiler Rainbow has a schedule of putting stones across our windows sill, so I'm quite aware of that. Yeah.
I wonder where she got that from.
I don't know where she got all that from.
Just something that interests me, Karen, is have you had a reading yourself? Like, how did you enter into this realm and this interest? Did you have a reading yourself that really changed your life or interact with someone, or was it something that you developed from an early age?
Something I've always known, that there's another world out there, right from an early age. I don't know whether childhood would have affected me, probably you could say, but it's almost as if, why am I here? This doesn't feel like home. You can understand that. It just felt that there's more to life. I've seen things from an early age. I remember one time seeing orbs in a field, literally dancing around, little tiny orbs, and being it's not trans. What's the word when you transfixed by them?
Transfixed. Yeah.
That's it. I have had dreams, very very vivid dreams, where I've been not on this planet. I've been around the universe, out of the universe, and various other things. I've had instincts. I started. I think one of the things that for me that really brought it on was I had a very traumatic time in my early 20s, and I started seeing colours. I had a guide that came in and started seeing colours. So I'd see the colours when I closed my eyes. I call them energies. People call them auras, and then I see them around people. So if I sort of put that switch on, I'll see a color around a person. But I found it really difficult because if I read books, it would say this color means this and this color means that, but it didn't agree with me. But that's from that person's perspective. So to give you an idea, one of my dear friends who's a psychic medium, her healing color is green. My healing color is blue. So if I see blue around somebody, I know that they need healing. If I see green around them, I know it's their heart and there's issues around their heart, but they see the green and it means something else. So I think it took me quite a few years to actually figure out that what people write in books is relevant from their perspective, and that isn't the right or wrong way. So for many, many years, I was like, oh, I can't be right because I'm not seeing that. I did do tarot cards for a period of time and then moved on from that. So yeah, I think it was seeing my colours, definitely. And I think one of the most significant recent times was about 8 years ago. And I was lying in this house upstairs on the bed, no one around, not a drink. It was like a Sunday afternoon, and I was lying down like that. And previously, I've gone up to where I've gone to like a portal, and that's the only way to describe it. And this portal, I've started to go down, but previously, several times before, I've pulled myself back and gone, no. This time I just went, well, what the hell? And the only way to describe it, and it sounds corny, but it was hands on truth, right? It was like going down a wormhole. If you've seen not like Stargate, but it's what's the one with Jodie Foster in it?
Contact.
Contact. It was like going down a wormhole there. And as I came out the other side, I saw whales going in, and there was this whales and dolphins, and there was this huge understanding and knowing of that's why they're here on the planet. That's why they're needed on Earth. I can't remember it to this day now because I lost lots of things. Were I didn't bring those memories back. But when I came out the other side, there was this huge expanse, and everything was connected. It was really. It's just I can't explain it really. And then there was this sort of like it was almost like a cube, and it wasn't the Borg, I hasten to say, but it was sort of like a dimensional shape, but it was vibrating, and it was everything resonated. Every single cell in my body resonated, but it wasn't deafening. But it was everything resonated, and it was beautiful. It's really hard to explain. And then I was there, and it was just like everything was connected. I was connected to everything. Everything was connected. It was like the domino effect. And then all of a sudden I came back, and it was like, oh damn. But it was like a real peaceful aha moment. I think that's the only way to describe it.
And that wasn't chemically induced.
No, not at all. I can hand on heart say no. I hadn't even had a cup of. I think I hadn't even had a cup of tea. I was just. It was not long after my father had passed away. So probably about a year and a half, but nothing, no alcohol, no nothing. I was just lying upstairs, a bit tired, and had an afternoon sort of snooze. You do that as you get older. And that's what happened.
Do you think then, listening to you speak, like, it would be easy to go, there sounds like there's a UFO sort of alien connection, but actually, do you think of it more as an astral connection?
Yeah, I think it's more of an astral. There are, in my beliefs, there are other forms of life out there. most definitely.
Do you think they've possibly harnessed their psychic abilities
Definitely,
better?
definitely. I have, in a dream state, I have seen them. When I lived in a place called Coldwatham, it was very rural, and I know that they were around, and I had many uncomfortable nights where I didn't feel very comfortable. I didn't feel very comfortable. And at the time, I was with a boyfriend who was he had very psychic powers, and I think he was drawing them in from his energy. So yeah, yeah, I didn't feel very comfortable at all. You know, when you get that, well, I say, you know, when you get that, you feel like your body's floating up and you're being pulled out. That type of,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I didn't like that at all. But I think that that's because his energies were different from mine, and what he was drawing in was not resonating with me. And that's one of the reasons I choose not to do readings. Yes, I can do readings. I choose not to do readings. I would rather work on the healing side than giving readings to people who are coming in with a different energy that I want to work with. So that's how I, you know, there's lots of really good mediums out there, some really good ones. There's also a lot of ones which aren't as what I'm looking for.
Your Derek Coras of the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, I would personally rather work with a different way, healing people and mending people in a different way. Not just a physical, emotional, spiritual, but also on a soul level, or on an astral level, or an ancestral level. So, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm talking away, and Jean. I know that you're a man who's got many questions as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's I could talk about stuff like this for hours. This is what we're well, this is certainly what I'm about, and the Monte Zone is about. So, yeah, and it's a good place to talk about it. It's just I think. So how long has this been a big part of your life then? I'm thinking probably 30 years plus.
Yeah, definitely, definitely 30 years plus. I know. Now I'm showing my age, aren't
How
I?
can that be
Gee,
possible, Karen?
thanks, G.
Well, did
Now,
you start when you were 2?
Oh,
now here's the next question,
go
right?
on.
Because in my experience, well, actually, I won't say what I found in my experience, but after all that time and delving into the world, do you still feel like you're beginning the journey, or you're still a novice, or that you're a really well learnt expert, or that you're a genius?
I I would say beginner because it's such an immense area to learn that we're not even scratching the surface in this lifetime down here. My belief, and this is my personal belief, is we are spiritual beings coming to have a human experience. So we're here to have those life of the earth, of the love, the the emotions, the physical, which you can't have over the other side. So we're here to have those experiences. We're just scratching the surface here. We really are. And a lot of what my belief is a lot of what we have knowledge of is left behind when we come down, so we can learn the lessons, we can learn what's going on, we can have those experiences. But yeah, definitely a beginner. I think anyone that says they're at the far end, I think.
I'm glad you didn't describe yourself as a genius, because I might have fallen off my chair.
No, I'd never say genius. I would say
Well, I couldn't think of the perfect word, but I just wanted to create some kind of scale. Because again, in my experience, I've found that most people that I've talked to that are, avid practices and in this area, or enthusiasts within the area of psychic, often describe themselves as they're still beginning their journey, and I think that that's just an element to how vast that it is, and actually how already, I've already been researching this really for about a week and a half, and then dipping in and out of it throughout the last couple of decades. But from that time, I already realized that there's actually quite a lot of science in it as well,
yeah,
which is really surprising. And when I say science, I don't just mean some of the examples that I was going to talk about that some of the guys have mentioned in chat already, like with the CIA. I mean, just in the process, when people are trying to either prove or disprove elements of this, that there's quite a lot of science used in it to control those findings and those results. I was reading about one. I can't remember the name of the guy. It's this guy who's a real skeptic, and he's put up since like the 70s. He's put up this prize for any person that can come forward and say that they are psychic and medium and that they can pass this test. And originally it was like $100,000, but now it's gone up to £1 million. And there was a lady that recently put herself forward for it, and yeah, apparently it's really, really tightly controlled. But the person who feels that they're psychic also has to agree to all the elements of the test as well. But it's just really interesting to see how the depth of that science has gone around the whole subject as well. I think it's immense.
I think anyone that would say that they're actually brilliant at it would actually, their ego would come into it and play into it.
Yeah.
And that's the ego is such a thing that can take over, and you think, you know, you have to sort of learn to put your ego behind and control that, because otherwise you can go, yeah, I can do this, yeah, I can do that. You know, I don't normally talk about it openly, only to those people around me, and that's how I am. I'm not one of these that goes and shouts out about it all the time. Even when, like, I'm with Monte and Smiler, you know, I don't do, you know me guys, you know, I'm not the one to go and talk about it 24/7, because I know there's a right time, I know there's a wrong time. I can tell you a classic time when I've just dropped myself right in it at work and said the wrong thing. I remember I worked in housing at one stage, and I had a lovely boss. Her name was Sandra, and I'm chatting to her, and all of a sudden there was gorgeous pink went all around her, and it was like this pink spray can mist around her, like the highlighter pen.
Pregnant?
No,
Oh.
and it was to do with this guy came over, and she had and I was like, oh, you really fancy him because you're all went all pink, and I went blah 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 blah, and she luckily she found it hilarious, and she was, yeah, I did actually. But you know, it was a harmless situation, but I've learned that you can't just open and say. You have to be very careful with anything, because you don't want to impact somebody's life mental way. It's always, for me, in a positive and a love and light, and I bring in the love and healing in that way.
Yeah.
Mickey said something nice in comments. He said, I don't think we could ever get to master it as humans. It probably won't be until we actually die that we learn more about the full details and are able to use the abilities. That's my 2 cents.
I totally agree with you. I think our life down here is like a piece of a jigsaw, and it's one small piece, and we learn we have all that experience, and when we go the other side, well, that one piece fits into the whole entire picture.
Or maybe in 100,000 years, where we do the whole Star Trek alien thing and transcend our human bodies and become balls of light, you know.
Who says we haven't done that? We haven't come back
yet.
We haven't time traveled.
The thing I'm trying to get past is the fact that Mickey says his favourite colour is blue. Surely, Mickey, it should be red. Blue?
No, mine's blue.
Mine's shocked.
Blue. Mickey seems a very blue guy to me.
But he's a Liverpool fan.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Well, I guess not.
Yeah. No, I have to say, I think also everyone has their own energy. You can have a photo taken, so you can have your aura field, which shows that. Have you seen
aura photography?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen and that was something that was experimented quite a lot. I think in the 80s as well, like around the time of like Polaroids as well. There was a lot that went around the time of the first conception of Polaroids.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? You know,
I've had it done.
in real life? Oh, you've had it done.
Yeah, yeah. You can often find if you go to when I used to live in the Horsham area, they used to have in Crawley the psychic fairs, and there used to be people doing that there. I think it was like 30 quid or 40 quid at the time, so going back a few years. Um, so yes, I don't know how the technology has progressed since, but you got this little Polaroid and you had these little auras around you, and it was this colour and that. It was really interesting to see. And also, when you look at, and they call it aura, I call it energy fields because people get freaked out when they say auras. And you can see that our energy field isn't just around us like this, like the ready break. It can protrude several feet. It can protrude, really quite a distance around us. And you can often see where there's chinks, where there's had some emotional damage, or there's been damage, or if someone smokes, or if someone does drugs, or if it's alcoholic, you can see how that affects the aura as well. It's really quite interesting.
Mine must be completely messed up.
So, about severe cases, you're just testing out.
Yeah, your aura's just about 5 meters behind you. That's all.
Yeah. We were drinking Brennivin in the TNG review show this week.
How was your head the next day?
I was absolutely fine. Maz McBob could only see out of one eye.
Oh, bless
So
her.
she went through her meetings that day just like... Yeah, I don't think she got out of bed.
Oh, bless her.
She went
That's
well.
when she have her picture saying connecting. And
Yeah. That's right, yeah. Didn't turn her camera on. Yeah.
connection problems.
Yeah, oh, the camera's not working today.
Smiler's asked in chat, are there psychic fairs in Devon?
Yes, there are, Smiler. I know that I've got some connections down there. I can look into it for you. There is a really lovely crystal couple of chaps have got a crystal shop called Dan Rocks, as in ROX. There's another lady that does healing down there as well. So I can connect and find out for you.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just to go back a little bit, thank you for joining us, Karen, by the way. We were just getting to you before you arrived. We were talking about Nazis and the fact that at the end of World War II, they found like a large cast of research papers. They had we were talking about the doctors doing research on twins and things like that. And that was all part of the, I'm going to get this term wrong, but Anunnaki sort of research group, the Das Anunnaki research group, and it was the research papers from the Anunnaki research group that the Allies found when they went into Germany. And from those research papers, basically, they split them in half. And the Soviets and the USSR took half of the research papers, and the US took the other halves of the research papers. And it was those things and the doctors and that they took from it that kicked off the sort of CIA investigation into psychic power. So they sort of mainly in the 70s, they kind of took it forward, didn't they?
I think one element to it was a bit tit for tat. So because there was rumors that, Americans would have been hearing rumors that there was these experiments and tests going on that Russians were doing around the whole area of psychic. So then they are panicking, thinking, right, we don't want them to discover something and whatever.
What did they get in the papers they took?
Yeah.
They might have got the better half.
One of the most standout cases in terms of Russia, and that this where you said that it led on to the CIA. I think this was the outstanding case that brought that attention to the US government and kickstarted the project Stargate that the CIA invested in. So in March 10th of 1970, Nina Kulagina, a housewife and former member of the Red Army Tank Regiment, stopped a frog's beating heart using only her mind. Kulagina, who claimed to have psychic powers, was sitting in an observation room in the Atomsky Military Institute in Leningrad, Russia, The freshly removed frog's heart was sitting in a solution that could keep it beating for up to an hour, and scientists were measuring beats per minute through electrodes they hooked up to the amphibian's tiny ticker. According to the Soviet doctors monitoring her, Kulagina's own heart rate increased dramatically during the 7 minutes it took her to mentally stop the frog's heart. It had taken her 20 minutes to prepare for the exercise. Next, she tried to elevate the heart rate of a human physician in the room who was skeptical of her powers. Both were hooked up to EKG machines. I don't know if that's a typo and it's meant to be ECG machines. Within a couple of minutes, analysts noted that the physician's heart was beating at a dangerous rate, and the experiment was terminated. But video of it quickly made its way to the US Defense Department. Did Kulagina truly have psychic powers, or were the Soviets attempting to outwit their enemies by hinting at the extrasensory arsenal? And that's what gave birth, I think, to the urgency within the CIA and Project Stargate.
EKG and ECG are the same thing. It's just
Are they?
EKG is the German abbreviation, but half of the world uses EKG and half of the world uses ECG. It's the same thing.
Well, I wanted to make sure we were talking about the right thing, so thank you, Monte.
It also reminds me of what voodoo does, voodoo style magic, as they call it. That's similar to the concept where they proclaim, I've got to be careful what I say here, to do things, whether it's maiming people, hurting people, putting a curse on them. So the voodoo doctor, I was trying to think then, the voodoo doctor does that.
Yeah.
If you look at all types of, you've got the shamans, you've got in Africa, you've got the voodoo doctors, you've got the Mexicans. Was it the Mexicans? No, the what's it? Haiti. Can't pronounce it.
Yeah,
now.
that's where voodoo's from, isn't it? Haiti.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's on the lines of that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of spiritual energies, isn't it? And communing with spiritual energies and things. Yep. But that leads us on to the CIA, doesn't it? And
Yes.
their sort of take on it. So they had the documents. They had some of the doctors. They played around with some research, I think it's fair to say, and eventually they started up the Stargate project. You were going through your wormholes earlier, Karen.
Yep, I definitely did.
That doesn't mean the CIA was building an underground base under Mount Cheyenne and traveling between the stars. It was actually just a code name of psychic research in what is called the Stanford Research Institute, SRI.
Okay.
The SRI, you know what I'm like. You know I like to go places.
Yes.
Shall we go?
Oh, we're going for a flight on Google Earth.
Shall we? Well, yeah, I'm just going to go Google Maps because that's going to be a little easier. We're going on a flight. Not in the villages in Florida, but we're going to San Francisco. Or more appropriately, we're going between San Francisco and San Jose. Do you know what this area is called? This sort of stretch between San Jose and San Francisco? Does anybody in chat know what colloquially this is known as?
There's something fault, isn't it?
The San Andreas Fault actually goes through further inland. It goes through the middle here. That's the San Andreas Fault goes through here. But this area here between San Jose and San Francisco is called Silicon Valley.
Yep.
So yeah, if you come down here and look, this is the Googleplex. So this is Google. When you're searching things, this is all Google's headquarters. And then if you head If you head just down here, here's Apple.
Apple.
Yeah, so
Circle. It's not
here's
an
the
apple shape.
Infinity Loop, the Apple, the original headquarters. This is their new headquarters, which is pretty impressive place. But you find Intel here, you find Microsoft, you find LinkedIn, you find, Oracle. They are all here, including NASA. All this is NASA. This is NASA Silicon Valley. But that's not what we're here for. We are here to come over to Menlo Park. So if we go into Menlo Park and head over here, we have... well, no, not that place. One up. SRI. There you go. There's SRI. So that is the place there. That's the Stanford Research Institute. It's all these buildings here. And this is where all the sort of PSYOPs, CIA stuff was done back in the 70s.
That's when they used a lot of drugs like LSD as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely used a lot of drugs to break down the barriers between the concept of reality and the mind.
Yeah, and again, a big part of the project was primarily involved in remote viewing research.
Yeah.
You can't really see it from the road. It's too...
I know I have tried to do some off-grid viewings of places like that. Not that particular place.
Oh, I think we can. Here we go.
There's nice RV there.
I believe it's only been declassified like pretty recently, like in the last few years.
It actually wasn't originally. It was a part of like the Snowden leak, the WikiLeaks.
Right.
It kind of originally come to light, I think, through the whole like WikiLeaks thing, and then since that has then been officially declassified because it was like, well, there's no point in it anymore. But there you go, SRI. Look. Oh, that is it. There.
I'm instantly drawn to underneath. If I look at that building, I want to go straight underneath and straight down.
Interestingly, and this is not interesting. This is interesting if you like areas and maps and things like I do. Right next to where this is, this sort of dark green area here, this is the richest neighborhood in the United States.
Okay.
So if you live here, and it's called Atherton,
right.
Atherton, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. But if you're a tech millionaire, you live here, and it's like a city of nothing but mansions.
Wow.
It's just mansion after mansion after mansion after mansion.
I'm looking on the big screen. It's easier that way because I'm on my phone here.
Yeah. It's just mansions. They're all mansions. So yeah, all the wealthy tech millionaires basically built this Atherton city here, which is just a city of... Anyway, there you go.
Hi, Healing Heart. Thanks for joining. Oh, and Mazza Bob's on board with us as well.
Mazza, how's your head? You recovered?
Oh, Mazza's been to the IBM labs. Yes, IBM. That's over this way, I think, somewhere.
Just a...
oh, there's NVIDIA.
Third attempt to say, give us a thumbs up and like this stream. Don't forget to like.
Done it already. Did it before I even joined.
Intel's over here. But yeah, anyway, this is where all those tech companies are. This is Silicon Valley. And yeah, also here, right next door to the SRI Institute is Stanford University. So if you ever heard Americans talking about the great Stanford University, one of the best universities in the world, that is this place here, this brown area. So there you go, Stanford University. Anyway, so yes, they started off Project Stargate then. I think it started in around the mid-70s, 75 or 78, something like that. And they were mainly down with testing remote viewing, I believe, for the CIA. They wanted to be able to,
There was quite a bit of heavy experimenting with psychokinesis as well.
Right. Yeah.
It's covered. There's quite a good book written by Annie Jacobson, which is called "The Secret History of the U.S. Government's Investigations into Extrasensory Perception and Psychokinesis." Long ass title for a book, but you know,
It is.
sounds interesting. But yeah, I think there was a lot of elements of psychokinesis as well.
And I think not long after, I think this started in like 1975, but one of the best examples of the work at SRI bearing fruit was in 1976. Tupolev Tu-22, which is basically a Soviet bomber. It looks like this. It's like
Like the stealth bomber look.
it looks kind of like a cross between Concorde and a bomber.
Yeah, the black thingy.
Hang on, I'll. It's that. So it's like this Soviet.
Freeze.
It's this thing here. I don't know.
Right. And what
There's
did they do
several
with this?
versions of it, but that's the old one. That's the one, the Tu-22. So one of these Soviet bombers crashed in the middle of Africa, and the U.S. military wanted to get their hands on it because nobody knew where it was. They know it's gone down somewhere, and they nobody knew where it was. And they turned to SRI and Project Stargate, and a lady called Rosemary Smith, who was working on the project, went into a trance state for quite some time, and when she came out of this trance, she gave her superiors a set of coordinates. The U.S. military sprang into action, went to where she directed them, and there was the crashed Soviet jet. And that's documented. That was a part of the leaked documents.
Wow.
Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So that was quite recent as well. What date did you say for that?
That was
1990?
No, it was 76. It was only a year.
76.
Like, yeah, it was only around the time the project got created.
So, do you think the military research and study into the psychic and remote viewing stopped after the Stargate project in the US with the CIA?
When did it stop? Was it 85 or something? Or 90 something?
It was terminated and declassified in 1995.
95. Yeah.
So, do you think it stopped there?
No. It's
still
certainly
going.
No, it's still
Yeah,
going.
well, coming back home onto UK shores, Britain's military spent taxpayers' money to test out remote viewing as recently as 2002, only to conclude the technique had little value. According to BBC documents secured through the Freedom of Information Act, show that the MOD initially sought to recruit professional psychics to take part in the research, failing to foresee that the pros tend to steer clear of men in white coats. Consequently, Whitehall's finest drafted in volunteers who were subjected to a rigorous program of research which involved blindfolding them and asking them to guess what was in a series of envelopes. The research, the cost of which was a vertigo-inducing 18,000 apparently, was seen as a ringing endorsement for psychic warfare, with the volunteers managing to close guess at the contents of the envelope just 28% of the time. While after all, the U.S. military had already wasted millions of dollars of the taxpayers' cash. That's the opinion of obviously the person who's writing this article. But now with the WMD or two, perhaps something spooked Whitehall into thinking the Americans were, after all, able to remote view and even control people 1,000 miles away, for example, in a small side street near the Palace of Westminster. But yeah, it's funny how even allies, you know, they're scared of the fact that people have got their heads around psychic research or control of psychic powers that's even making British paranoid that the Americans have managed to achieve certain elements of it. But like Karen said, it's probably still going on right now.
I think it's going on right now, and I would tell you this now. If the psychic was really worth, or a spiritual person, would you go shouting about it, knowing that the men in the white coats would come and start prodding you and testing you?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
I know, no chance, no way on earth.
It's
Your lifestyle would be compromised.
Their employment of it and their research of it now is more open. But what they do is they hide it in plain sight. So like the US government never says it's going to go to war with anyone anymore. It's going to be a military operation, or it's going to be, they find, they don't interrogate some, they don't torture someone anymore. It's intense interrogation or something. It's they phrase things, they reword things, and they've repackaged things in certain ways that I think a lot of the research they do into this and the things is stuff that's recorded in the open and in public, but it's termed in such a way that you don't realize what it is.
It's packaged in a non-aggressive form, more of a passive form now.
When they're developing general seeing strategies, that general seeing strategy is remote viewing.
Yes.
But nobody thinks when they read, what's that? They're looking into general seeing strategies. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still going on. It's just.
Oh, it's definitely going on. Yeah. I definitely believe that there's a lot more that's still going on. Might not be so much the forefront of their area, because I think there's more artificial intelligence they're going now, drones, that style of simulation style. But I definitely feel that it's going on.
Yeah.
To what level and how, we'll never know.
Healing Heart thinks it hasn't stopped at all.
No, never. Never stopped. I totally agree.
Mickey thinks it's being obscured so the public don't panic about it.
Mickey had a question. He said, and yeah, he's right. We've got to be careful of what we say sometimes. Are women capable? No, hold on. What was it he said? Where's it gone? Do we believe there are any women in white coats? Because we were like men in white coats, men in white coats.
Oh gosh, definitely, Mickey. Yeah. Definitely, we are general.
There are persons in white coats.
Yeah, for my generation, it was men in white coats. It was just the terminology that was used. There are persons in white coats, and I would feel that I personally would not want to say what I would do or what I couldn't do, because I certainly wouldn't want to be in a goldfish bowl being prodded and tested and whatever.
Just a 5-minute warning to everybody to get some pen and paper if you got one at reach.
No.
We're going to do a fun psychic test in a little while. But yeah, Healing Heart has also said in chat, why wouldn't they, Mickey? Women are just as capable of great evil. Just look at Sturgeon. I'm not too sure who Sturgeon is.
She's the Scottish Premier who's just stepped down.
Ex-Prime Minister.
Right. So
yeah. I can't disagree with
anything about the word of paranormal. If she all of a sudden saw a ghost, I'd know about her. But if she's in, just current affairs, forget about it.
Well, she's quit before she was pushed out. She's gone voluntarily. So
talking about that, they did say that the current prime ministers and presidents know about things that are going on to a certain level as well.
Maybe.
Basically, I just wanted to say, in answer to what Healing Heart was saying, is that when I was doing this research into the psychic, because the Nazis came up quite a lot, there was a sort of offshoot article that I was reading, and like one of the worst Nazis and war criminals was a woman.
Yes, it was.
And the stuff that she did was just, my God, I'm not even going to repeat it, but it was, so women are definitely capable of being super evil. And then Mickey's just put in chat, I just remembered I have a question for G Star and Monte, but it's not related to tonight's topic. What is your view on all these new UFO sightings?
Oh,
Which ones?
There's a lot happening. I mentioned it to you the other day, and I think then the conversation got on to Chinese military balloons. But the Americans are quite like a high alert for the number of UAPs that they've picked up and seen on radar in the last sort of week and a half or so. And a lot of their air force. Is that what you're talking about, Mickey? Let me know in chat if that's what you're referring to, that they've kind of been on, a lot of their forces over there have been on high alert because they keep seeing these UAPs and picking them up on radar. Don't know what they are. But then I think there's a good party of people that think that it's related to some sort of China balloon or something.
I think they've shot 40 of them down or something so far, but they've scooped
I don't
them
know
all
if
up.
that's what Mickey's referring to. But to be honest with you, again, because I'm on sabbatical, I've not been keeping up with, you know,
The news.
the most recent sighting. A couple of Bigfoot things have come my way, but nothing really big in the UFO. So, but obviously,
Yeah.
I'm always watching what's coming up, and yeah, I haven't seen anything that particularly stands out, Mickey. So let us know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it is about 40 or 70 or so. There's loads that they've tracked and shot down, not just the one over Alaska. And they've, scooped it all up and are analysing it, saying, China's saying it's their
Weather balloons.
It's scientific weather balloons and things. But obviously,
Well,
nobody
Is it-
knows what
is
it
it
is.
a Roswell?
there was
Roswell.
one video that I saw recently, but unfortunately, I saw it on TikTok, so I don't know the validity of it. It
And
looked
it's not true.
well. I'm not saying that, but obviously there's a lot of, because of the nature of TikTok and the short videos, you can't really discern a lot. But it was a footage. It looked like somebody. Actually, I think I know where it was. It was somewhere in Utah, I think, where they're on the side of the road and they're just sort of filming through their front window screen, and they're just saying, "Look, guys, UFO! Look, guys, UFO!" And then there's this massive military lorry that drives past the car, and on the back of the lorry, you can clearly see what looks like half of a UFO, and then another
seen
military.
that.
Yeah, but it looks like it could quite easily be achieved with some clever, relatively over-the-counter special effects.
It's like half covered in a tarp and half not. Is it like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, if the military were going to do something like that, they would cover it up. They wouldn't leave it half on, half off.
Well, I
That's
don't know, because actually, that's the paradox within the whole paranormal and ufology, because it could be that double negative of making you think, well, surely they wouldn't drive down a public road with it, but actually, would they? And then you think, well, no, that can't be real because they wouldn't do it so exposed like that.
I've just talking about
Messing with your brain.
Exactly.
Objects. I've just seen that Chewie's in the background moving. I didn't realise he was
Yeah,
there.
there he is. Yeah.
Oh, I just
Curled
had a
up.
head bob up.
You having a
Chewie.
nice sleep, Choo-choos? He's like, don't talk to me, Dad. I'm having a sleep.
He blends in with the sofa so well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Camouflage.
Yeah.
Right, does everybody want to do the test?
Yes.
I don't have a pen or a paper. I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Whilst Karen's just got another well documented event that Stargate Project was involved in, was the 1980s CIA when they got involved with the American hostages that were taken hostage in Iran, the Iran hostage crisis. The CIA employed a team of, I think it was literally hundreds, like 200 psychic people, to find the 52 Americans that were taken hostage. And they apparently proved pivotal in pinpointing exactly where they were in Iran.
Yeah, I think hopefully we've achieved what I kind of was hoping with this episode that, you know, if there's been a lot of military, government research, tests, study into this phenomena of psychic, and they've spent lots and lots of money on that research, surely in some element there's got to be something more to it than just thinking people are a bit balmy and a little bit, you know, cray. That's all I'm saying. And I think we've kind of talked a lot about where, you know, shown the history of that tonight. Let us know in chat if you agree. Okay, so this psychic test, let me just see if I can share my screen. Don't share just yet, Monty. So what I'm gonna do is the way this is going to work, while you've got your pen and paper, is you need to note down your answers the first time I go through the questions. And then at the end, we'll go through the answers and you'll give yourselves points. Don't necessarily think that if you get low points, it's a bad thing, or if you get high points, it's a good thing. And this is just a bit of fun, but let's find out and see who amongst us is psychic. So what you'll need to do is when we get to the point stage, you'll need to share the points that you scored in chat, and then I can let everybody know what kind of psychic you are. Anyway, so let's start with the first one. The screen is ready to share, Monty. It's loaded into this. If you can just put it into the screen. Dream. Okay, so the first one is, and try not to think about these too much. You're walking through the forest and come across this fork in the road. One path will lead you safely home, and the other will lead you towards a family of hungry bears. Which way do you go? Left or right? Obviously, write down which one you've chosen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfecto. Gonna just move the slide
Just
on.
a question: why can't you just turn around and go the other way? Why'd you have to go down either side?
Hell, that's a valid point, but that won't get you any points. Okay, next one. If you're ready for the next one, yeah?
Yeah.
You're presented with 3 cups and told you have to drink one.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are poisonous and 1 is not. Which one do you choose? Blue, yellow, or orange? For anybody that's colorblind out there, blue starting on the left, yellow in the middle, orange on the right.
I thought you were going to say, for those that are colourblind, the blue one is next to the yellow one.
I think Mickey is colourblind, aren't you, Mickey?
So make sure you're recording your own answers and which cup you chose on that one. Okay, ready for the next one?
Okay.
You opened your door to find an unmarked sealed box on your doorstep. What do you think is inside it? A sweater, a basketball, 4 boxes of macaroni and cheese, or there's nothing inside? So you open the door to find an unmarked sealed box on your doorstep. What do you think is inside it? A sweater, a basketball, 4 boxes of macaroni and cheese, or there's nothing inside? Note down your answer.
I was going to say dog poo, but I think that's just a reflection of my neighbourhood.
I'm just getting a bit confused because it's a box that doesn't say Amazon on it. So that's just
It hasn't got a nice smiley face with an arrow.
It's a bomb. It's a bomb. It's not got Amazon on it. Get rid of it. Everybody keeping up with us? Everybody noting their answers? Give us a thumbs up in comments and chat if you are. That'd be awesome. Right, next one. You're sitting across the room when you hear the phone ring. You can't see the caller ID and you weren't expecting a call from anybody today. Still, you feel like you know who it is before you even get up and check. Who is it? Your best friend, your mum, your doctor, or your co-worker? Your best friend, your mum, your doctor, or your co-worker? Ready, guys? Next one. Okay, your significant other has something special planned for you, but they want it to be a surprise. You cover your eyes the whole ride there and don't peek. When you finally arrive, they ask you to guess where you are before the big reveal. What's your guess? Are you at a hidden beach, a trendy restaurant, a gorgeous park, or a new museum?
Can you repeat that one? Because I was just blanked out for a minute.
That's not a good sign.
No.
Your significant other has something special planned for you, but they
Right.
want it to be a surprise.
Oh, right.
You cover your eyes the whole ride there and don't peek. When you
Okay.
finally arrive, they ask you to guess where you are before the big reveal.
Right.
What's your guess? A hidden beach, a trendy restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
a gorgeous park, a new museum.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Next one.
Right.
One of these cards is the seven of diamonds. Do you know which one it is? Is it blue, red, or green?
Okay.
One of these
Is
cards
that green, is it?
is
So
seven of
blue
diamonds.
to me.
Which... Yeah.
Blue on the left, red in the middle, green on the right.
Cyan.
Whatever. Marine, aquamarine.
Aquamarine, I'd say.
Aquamarine. Mm.
Aquamarine, yeah. Is it aquamarine? Is it aquamarine from Plymouth, I say?
I was going to say, because you've got green in the background.
I think that's what makes it not green, is the green in the background, yeah.
Okay, I haven't got a picture for this next one. You're just going to have to imagine that you can see Matt. Matt is thinking of a number between 1 and 50. He says if you can correctly guess the number, he'll give you $1 million. What number do you think he's thinking of?
But
4,
He's not there.
20. He's not there, no.
No.
No, he's not there. But
Okay.
you've got to instill Matt into your mind.
Okay.
Instill Matt into your mind.
So you need to think as if you're thinking about
He's
that.
in a yellow
You're right.
jumper and he's thinking about a number between 1
Okay.
and 50. Is he thinking of the number 4? Is he thinking of the number 23? Is he thinking of the number 17? Or is he thinking of the number 44? Is he thinking of the number 4, 23, 17, 44?
Okay.
Okay, got a picture for the next one. Okay, your friend holds up a gift bag and says they have a surprise for you. Before they hand it to you, they ask you to guess what it is. What's inside the bag? Is it a snow globe, 4 pairs of socks, 2 paperback books, or a 50-piece puzzle? A 500-piece puzzle, sorry. Is it a snow globe, 4 pairs of socks, 2 paperback books, or 500-piece puzzle?
I do not know where this is going.
Me neither.
Okay. You're writing it all down, though, yeah?
I'm
just
writing it all
remind-
down.
Just reminds me of the psychic test that Ghostbusters used to do with the electric wire.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, there's a name for that. It's called Gansfeld experiments.
That's right. I couldn't remember it.
Yeah. I'm secretly doing a test and study on you and recording it. Right. Excuse me. You're being chased down a long hallway and see these 3 doors up ahead. 2 of them are locked. Which door isn't? The orange, the green, or the blue?
How many more questions, G?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Did you know? Did you know that was the last one?
What did Stealth Andy say there? G, you are a mat. What's that mean?
G, you are a Matt. You are. Oh, you are Matt. The Matt, the guy in the yellow, thinking of a number.
Oh, yes. I am Matt. I am
You are
thinking
Matt.
of them.
Yes.
Right. Okay, ready to go through answers?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the correct answer. Well, not the correct answer, but just an answer for each one. if you had this answer, give yourself a point.
Right.
So, how can I get back to the 2 seconds? I want to get back to the beginning of the presentation a minute. There we go. 2 seconds. There we go. Has that come up again for you?
It is.
Right. So the first one was left. So if you said left, give yourself a point. If
Okay.
you said right, give yourself nothing.
Right. I mean left.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Left, right, left, right.
Number 2
Mm-hmm.
was the cups.
Yeah.
If you said yellow, give yourself a point. If you said any other color, do not give yourself anything. And don't cheat on this, obviously, because if you cheat on it, you're not going to get a true reflective answer. Okay?
Yep. Hey,
correct-
it's the boys. I just saw them there.
The correct answer for this one was 4 boxes of macaroni and cheese. If you said 4 boxes of macaroni and cheese, give yourself a point. If you said a sweater, a basketball, or there's nothing inside, don't give yourself any points.
I'm just going to bring Mickey in because Mickey's backstage.
Hey, Mickey.
You're so fine.
Oh, he's just panicking because I've just said I'm bringing him in. He's like, I ain't got my headphones on or anything yet. Hang on. Whoa. I'm bringing you in. Are you ready? Put your thumbs up if you're ready to come in, Mickey. Double thumbs up. He's giving me double thumbs up. So there you go. Hey. Hi, Mick. Oh, we got no sound. We got no sound there.
Hey, he's smiling. And he's blue.
Check your mic settings in
Mickey, you
StreamYard.
just a nice brownie. That's all you need now.
Sorry, so that was the food, wasn't it? The
macaroni. 4
macaroni.
boxes of macaroni and cheese.
I nearly said that, and I changed my mind.
I changed my mind as well.
It's annoying.
Okay. Next one was about who is it on the phone.
Mm.
If you said your best friend, give yourself a point. If you said your mum or the doctor or a co-worker, give yourself nothing.
I will say I'm not doing very well at this.
Well, we'll talk
I
about that in
changed
a
my
minute.
mind, so don't mind, Monty.
We can hear you now, Mickey.
Good.
Did you have all yours written down, Mickey?
I did.
Excellent. Right, the next one. So this was where you were being surprised and taken to a place, and you were asked to guess where it was. If you said a hidden beach, a trendy restaurant, or a new museum, don't give yourself a point. If you said a gorgeous park, give yourself a point. The next one was the aquamarine card. That was the 7 of diamonds.
You confused me by saying green in that one. That's the problem with that one. That's why
That's the easiest way of doing it.
That's why I got it wrong.
The next one. I've clicked too far ahead.
Oh, all right.
Previous. Okay. So the next one was Matt, who was me.
You didn't have a Matt one, did you? Matt was
No.
Yeah, it's just you.
But he was thinking about a number between 1 and 50. If you said 4, 17, or 23, don't give yourself a point. If you said 44, give yourself a point. Next one was the shopping, and the present that your friend had got you was 2 paperback books. If you put 2 paperback books, give yourself a point. If you put snow globe or 4 pairs of socks or a 500-piece puzzle, 0 points.
Books.
And
a friend,
last one. The correct answer was, unfortunately, Stealth Andy. It was door 3, blue.
Oh, I was with Stealth. I put green.
So that was the one that was unlocked. So total up your points in chat. For those of you that are in chat with us, let us know how many you got out of 9.
I will put it in chat as well. I'll be the vault though, but the vault got a massive amount of. I got 3. Healing Heart got 3. Hey, we both got 3.
1.
You got 1. Mickey got 1.
The first one, and then it went all downhill.
I got the first one. Yeah.
It's weird actually because I think a lot of people tend to get the first one right.
I got the first.
For some reason, I got was there 9 answers or 10?
9.
I got Mott for 10.
So the highest points at the moment are coming from Healing Heart with 3 and Vault 3.
I got 4, but I changed my mind on 2. So I would have got 6 if I hadn't changed my mind. So that's my. I've got the first one wrong. The park I picked up trees, but the ones I changed my mind on was the empty box. Was I wanted to choose macaroni, but logic kicked in. And then when you said the work thing, being in the office, that threw me. And it was like the office, my mother, best friend. And I just wobbled on that one. Monte will know why.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So basically,
I got 4 overall.
don't be despondent, guys, because I did this test earlier today as well. And this is all a bit of fun, but the way that this test goes, that if you score between 1 and 3, you're kind of like average. Most people score between 1 and 3, and most people have things like basic intuition, instinct, things like that. So the average score is definitely sits between 0 to 3. If you scored between 4 and 7, 4 and 6, sorry, you have psychic abilities, but you are either not confident with them, so you don't trust them. So you have a lot of times where you have this voice in your head saying, and you go, "Oh no, I better not listen to that and read what's written down here and trust what I've read there and not follow my instinct." That's the people that are 4 to 6, or they're people with psychic abilities that are just not aware of the fact that they've got psychic abilities, or they haven't practiced or honed it enough. And if you score between 7 to 9, obviously you are very psychic, probably know it, have a lot of confidence in that realm, and you know,
are called Meg.
And you live a lot on your intuition
Mystic.
and instinct. And you live more by that than you live by worrying about the facts. People who obviously score low depend more upon the facts as well. They struggle with the intuition. But yeah, so interesting. So I don't think anybody should feel despondent. When I did the test earlier on, does anybody want to guess what I scored?
2.
Through 2.
No, I scored 4.
Ooh.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. We got that
So-
one wrong as a question, didn't we, everybody?
It's really weird. It's really weird.
We scored the same, G. But the question is, did you actually change your mind? Because like the empty box and the co-worker one, I went to put one down and then I swerved at the last minute and put the other answers down.
I was going to put the macaroni cheese in the box, and I decided on nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. I felt that it was almost my logical brain wanted to take over, and I was trying to analyse and be trick questions. You know, when you do the psychometry tests.
It's weird because I knew it was $2 in the bag.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Well, when the park question came up, I just got a picture of a tree straight in the head.
Yeah, I have to say it was between the park and the hidden beach, but I went hidden beach.
I wonder why.
That's where my heart goes. So, you know.
Well,
it's the same for the call with the unknown call. Well, only my mum ever calls me, so it's got to be my mum, because no other bugger would.
Yeah, Rainbow Wood.
I think that's why I said to everybody, like, don't think about it too much. Just follow your instinct and go with your instinct, because I have got to agree with Karen, and that is that you know, I could sit here and say, do you know what? There was 2 or 3 where initially I thought an answer popped into my head, but then I overthought it. So one
Yeah.
example of that is, and do you know what? I also reflected this afternoon that if I probably done this test about 4 or 5 years ago, no, actually less than that, probably about 2 years ago, I think I would have scored higher. But because I do a lot of like research, investigating now, and there's a lot of stuff where I have to really think about how it can be perceived in another way. You know, I think it's that there's more analytics that come into there that get in the way. So, for example, the one that I can really say is when I first looked at the box at the door, I instantly smelt cheese. So I thought macaroni and cheese, but then I thought, well, the box is the size of a basketball, so they're probably suggesting that is a basketball. So I don't think it is a basketball. And because I then said I don't think it's a basketball, I forgot about the fact that I smelt the cheese, and then I just went to nothing inside, because I then what was going through my brain. And this is where I guess the power of suggestion comes in as well, and how Darren Brown and certain people like that do the things that they do, is because I'd thought about the deception. I then thought, well, maybe there's nothing inside at all, and that's how I landed on that. And I can actually see the train of thought there.
Yeah.
I'd love to be in your head, G, for that 30 seconds while you had that conversation with yourself.
You never want to be in G's head. That's
No,
that's not a place anybody ever wants to be.
That's why we call the show the Monte Zone and not the G Spot.
You'd be showering yourself for a week.
You'd never find it, G.
Yeah. Me and Tabby from the TNG show would just be like, hey. But no, and I think just going to chat, Healing Heart said somewhere, yes, analysing it doesn't help. And that's the thing. You've got to really go with the answer straight away. I should have tried to say
Just write it out,
answer it
straight
in
away.
5 seconds, like almost do it automatic and don't even think about it. But yeah, just a little bit of fun, bit of it, you know, interesting, but you know, definitely. And just to mention as well, because Smiler shared in chat that she scored 5.
Hey.
She's our highest scorer.
Do you know, Smiler Rainbow, she gets her spider senses, as we call it, and she's usually spot on, and vice versa. I pick up with her and she picks up with me. It's quite amazing, actually. So she's very, very, very astute.
Smiler, is that what you were unpacking in the kitchen earlier? I heard things.
What, 2 boxes of macaroni?
Did you actually unpack boxes of macaroni cheese in our kitchen whilst she was... yeah. That's quite funny.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting test as well, because I don't think also analytics can impact it. I think emotions can impact it as well. There's cleverly placed questions in there.
I disagree. Analytics do, because I was also thinking the ones I changed my mind is what would the average person think of or be?
Yeah,
It's
but
a
what I'm
bit
saying is, as much as that can distract you from your honest,
Mac and
instinctive
cheese.
answer... It's not in a box though. It's not in a box.
Is there 2 boxes of macaroni cheese?
I think
Is there 2 boxes?
I think there's just one. Oh, is there 2?
Yeah.
Oh no, there is 2. No, there is 2. Yeah.
Smiley Rainbow has manifested 2 boxes of macaroni cheese.
There you go. Hilarious.
What I was trying to say is that, you know, the analytical side in our brain, naturally getting into that analytical zone, can distract from your instinctual intuition answers. But equally, I think there's some questions cleverly placed in there, which then also make you think about your emotions that then influence your response. For example, the question about someone is ringing your phone that you didn't know was going to ring. If you've had a really, you know, bad day and that you're a bit of a mummy's boy or mummy's girl, you would instantly, your brain would go, well, I wish it was my mum, or I wish it was my best friend, or, you know, and there's a lot of people that naturally wouldn't go with the co-worker because he wants to think, well, I'm really sad. The only people that are ringing me are people that I work with, you know, so there's a lot of things that I think also play on
Or your
emotions.
mum.
Yeah.
It's a everyday life. Like today, I unpacked the HelloFresh box, and that's exactly what I thought when I seen the box. And
HelloFresh.
that's everyday life.
Evening,
Just
Kevin.
sends you towards things too.
It does, yeah.
So, Mickey, did you have an empty box afterwards?
I did it. I ripped it up and put it in the recycling. I'm such a good person.
But did
What
you
a
have the
good
empty
lad.
box as the question, as the answer?
The empty box, no.
What did you? Was it a basketball?
I got socks.
Oh, you put socks.
Sacks.
Socks.
Oh,
Socks.
socks.
Oh, Karen.
Sorry, universal translator. I forgot.
Yeah. Engage your universal translator. Yeah. Good evening, Kevin. I hope you're well. Couldn't make it because of the rugby. It was a good win for Warrington. Oh, that's good.
Good. Happy celebration day times, Kevin. Give us a like to celebrate.
Yeah.
What's that little thumb light up? Yeah, so that was the psychic test. And that was our first delve into the areas of psychic. So, I mean, Karen was mentioning, Mickey, about you coming on because we know that you've had some experiences in the past with hauntings and spirits and stuff. But is there anything in the world of psychic that's not within the sort of spirit realm that you've had connection or experience with?
Some things I was trying to think what I had told you earlier, Karen.
He can't remember the story. He does.
But
It was predominantly when you were going onto certain streets,
yeah,
and
on the bin run.
yeah, and when you were picking
Yeah.
things up, and we had a conversation, I think, by text,
Yeah.
and I picked stuff around that. Do you remember when?
There was a street I went on. Used to be on a bin run. I used to be on, and every time I went on that street, my head went just not sore, but just weird. And every time, once I went away from it, I was, you just it settled out. But I said to Kieran about it, and then researched a bit, and there's a boy shot dead on that street.
Wow.
But before you said that, I said that someone had been killed there, hadn't I?
Yeah,
I
you had
they'd
said
been
something had
this-
happened there.
and someone
I
had
was
been
like,
killed.
no.
Yeah.
Because it's the quietest wee estate. There's nothing about. There's a pool hall, and that's it. But a bit of research and somebody had been shot dead just right on that street. There's only about 20 houses on it, and
So
it's
what
the
was?
strangest thing.
So what was the actual feeling you got? Was it like
Your head just tingled. It until I am down. I had to go down that street and back up it, and until I get around the corner, about
You felt
50
dizzy as
meters
well.
down the street. Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen.
I had an experience similar to that not too long ago. I think I spoke about it on another show briefly, but it was actually when I was with Mazza McBob and D-Bot actually one time when we were walking back to Bob's house, and there was just this house that was just at the end or the bottom of where Mazza lives, and it was nothing uniquely different about this house or whatever, but I tell you what, I got the most horrid feeling from this house. I've always said that I think I'm quite sensitive to things, but I've never ever claimed that I've got any ability to whatever, but I just have some weird feelings about things sometimes. And the only way I can describe the way that I felt was, sometimes when somebody punches you in the gut and you lose your breath and like everything's just really tight in there and you're like,
Yeah.
It was just I felt like that, and it felt like I just got off a plane, or I was declining on a plane, and my ears had popped and everything, and just everything didn't feel right. It was a bit weird, and all I could think about was something bad has happened in that house. And I've never, ever, ever, unless I've gone to a location which I know has got Pacific history. So like me and Monte have gone to Jamaica Inn, we've gone to Bodmin Jail. And Bodmin Jail was an area that I definitely picked up on some stuff, which is pretty wouldn't be a surprise to anybody who's sensitive, given the traumas that have gone on there. But it's the first ever time that I've just walked about and just gone, oh my God, even to the point where I told the guys about it straight there. And then like when we got back to my house, I was like, oh, it's really weird. I just felt really strange.
Did you research it, G?
No,
No.
do you know what? I thought about it.
I'll tell you why, because actually I was with Smiler Rainbow, and I think I've told it. I'm sure I've told her this story. When Smiler Rainbow was a wee young lass, her parents lived in Gloucester, well, they still do, and we used to walk from where they were to the Docklands. And I remember Smiler and her sister were a lot younger. I think I must have been late teens, early 20s. Definitely late teens, early 20s. And I remember we were walking down the street, and I was looking at the houses, and I love looking at architect, and I love looking at the buildings, and I saw this wrought iron name of this house. It was beautifully scrolled, and I remember looking at the name of the house and thinking, that's really pretty, the scrolling of it. And then I went ice cold, and I mean I went ice cold as I looked. I zoomed in on the name of the sign, but as I went out, the ice cold hit me, and it was Cromwell Street, Fred West's house, and this was before it had even happened, years before.
Wow.
And I remember having that chilled feeling of forbidding energy.
Goosebumps. You
yeah.
always get goosebumps at certain points. Certain people, if I talk to certain people, just
trust your
goosebumps
instinct.
out of nowhere for some
Yeah.
reason. Like,
Trust your instinct, guys.
I mean,
that's why it's there.
To answer your question, days later, this is going to sound really odd, but just, it also gives you a bit of an impact about what effect it had on me. So days later, when I'm in the shower, I'm still thinking about it. I'm having a shower and I'm thinking to myself, the very thing that you just said, or somebody said, should I research this? Should I try and find out whether something happened there? But the thing that stopped me from doing it, well, there's two reasons, actually. One, the feeling was so horrible, I don't think I want to delve into it anyway. And what value is it going to offer to me? But also, I don't think the feeling that I have is it's something that happened there that people wouldn't know about, that nobody knows about, and that was secret, and whoever experienced it, so you can kind of feel where I'm hinting at here, whoever experienced it, it never got exposed that they were having this awful thing happen to them. And so it kind of feels a little bit like that it's been locked into that trauma's been locked into that property just because it never got exposed what evil went on there. I don't know.
I often question myself and wished I'd said something sooner about that property. And I do, because, this was years before.
You're right. You're right, actually, because I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, that if I'd have turned around and said there's something wrong, and had the trust my instinct and said something wrong with this house, something wrong there, whether people would have listened to me or not would be another issue. I've got a picture of a KFC bucket on my.
Yeah, sorry.
If you could have saved somebody, then that would have been so worth it. But how are people taken? If you were to say this, I mean, the social media case of the young mum that fell into the river, that was really quite. That shows how psychics have come out, and people have come out with the whole theory and all sorts, and have been blown into their own sleuths, and that's been quite sort of difficult for everybody, I think.
So I've read stories this week about the fact that they found Nicola Bulley's body.
There you go. Moving on to it.
She was a lady who went missing. I didn't realise that her body was found by a psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this week.
I didn't know that either.
No.
I thought
I knew about her going missing, but I didn't know about her being found. And not by a psychic.
She has been found. Bearing in mind, this is 2 days ago. So, but yeah, a spiritual medium found the body of Mother 2 in reeds in the River Wye. So it's a psychic.
Was that near the caravan area, that part of the river.
I
It's
don't know.
right beside a road.
I think it was
like
this lady
just off the
here.
road.
Someone actually took a picture of her actually pointing where it is to the police. The
Wow.
moment the psychic points out where the body is.
Where's the psychic from?
Lancaster, I believe. Or is
Well, this was. I think this was in Lancaster.
That's what I'm wondering.
Thank you for Kevin to bring this to our attention.
Yes,
Was
thank you,
she
Kevin.
was she out walking her dog and seen the body and says, "Oop," or was she from down the country and came up and said, "Look, it's here"? You'd like to know that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's been quite documented that both police in all around the world really have used psychics to help out with certain cases, that especially ones that they're struggling with. It's been quite heavily, documented that they do that. Whether people think that there's value in that or not, but it's definitely something that goes on.
Like if you have somebody missing, you're gonna take any avenue you can to try to find them. So
She was found 1 mile from where she went missing, and divers and police teams have scoured this area and they didn't find her.
Oh, she's
My-
missing
my
411.
My
it's
query
really
is,
strange.
my query is that she's got a spaniel, hadn't she?
Yeah.
The spaniel hadn't got in the water or wasn't by the water, and the spaniels have got a very good nose. They're used in cases for finding blood that has been gone. I think what's the word? There's a word for it. I can't think of the word. Sorry, it's Friday night and it's not past my bedtime normally. But they can find blood even if things have been washed and whatever. I'm surprised that the spaniel didn't give more of an indication.
Well, there's definitely some weird things about the fact that the dog wasn't harmed but didn't have its collar on.
And it wasn't wet either.
Yeah.
The spaniel would have jumped straight in the water.
So-
in the
Exactly.
water.
Mine would have done. If I hired
Yeah.
from my dogs, they would
And
come and find me.
Am I right in saying, Monty, that you just said that her body was then later pointed out by the psychic in an area that had already been searched and covered?
Yeah, it was a mile downriver, and they'd had divers and search parties scour the whole area.
It really is. It's weird because when, I only picked up the smallest of details from it, but I started thinking this could, end up sounding a little bit like a UK missing 411 near water as well. But yeah.
What's a 411?
It's particular cases which have been studied by or researched by a gentleman by the name of David Palaudis, and he's put them together in books, and then they featured in a documentary. And the missing 411 usually have certain pointer markers or profile markers that determine them to be a 411 case. So usually they go missing with unexplained circumstances, so it's not particularly obvious, who's taken them, why they've gone missing. They usually disappear near a body of water or a boulder field. They're usually found in areas, or parts of their clothes are found, because not all missing 411 cases are found, but either their clothes or their body is found in areas that were already heavily searched by search and rescue people. And it's sometimes up to cases of 3 times they search the area. So there's all these different pointer markers, but it's sounding a little bit like, what Monty was saying there. The police had already searched that area of the river, not found her, then a psychic found her there.
The diver, he was saying it wasn't his remit to search the reeds, so he only sonared the river.
Right.
So was it just like a miscommunication?
Maybe.
Could be.
You search this. No, nobody searched it. It's possible, but
If you're searching a river, you would search the banks as well. Most definitely.
you
That
would
would be
you would go
logic.
through them in a boat and check with lights and stuff. You would think, but
Well, he's probably been fired now for doing a crap job. Why did you do the reeds?
he got a lot of crap over it.
Yeah.
So he did.
But
Very sad.
but obviously, there's another thing that's very odd. Yeah, I mean, as Karen said, it's all very sad as well. But that oddness that the dog was fine, but the lead was missing from the dog which again is sort of unusual.
Strange.
And the phone
Yeah.
was connected on the bench as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, like if the dog had a gun difficulty and she's going to jump in and she left her phone there, then the collar wouldn't have been off, or the lead might have been off,
Or the dog's collar would be wet, or the dog
and the
would be
dog
wet.
would be wet. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it is a dangerous. I mean, Healing Hearts made a bit of a joking chat, but actually, there's kind of a serious side to that because you've got to be careful. Because if you're dealing with a case where they've got no kind of leads and they've got no heavy, and then you come along and say, "I'm a psychic and I
Yep.
know where the body is," so like all of a sudden you're closely coming number one.
Dangerous.
You know,
You're the number one
No,
suspect.
yeah, exactly. So, all joking
How do you
aside,
know
like,
this?
Healing
Why
Hearts
do you
said
know
the
this?
psychic did it. Sorry, bad joke.
Yeah.
But it could be. It's like,
Yeah.
why does she know where the body is? It could be all a ruse to get some media attention.
Sorry, it was a him actually. It was a 33-year-old man.
Right.
So I can't read. Smiley's put something in chat. Karen, what was it?
She
Smiley's put
passed in 1871, so you could not have saved even if you
Oh, that's
if
talking
you
about the
had
house.
said the Cromwell
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah,
Oh, Fred.
yeah. Very- Okay. that's
Long deed.
one day.
But yeah, I hope everybody's enjoyed this first sort of delve into the world of the psychic. Karen, being absolutely, this was the right show for you to come and pop into the studio and join us for definite. You are,
Thank you for smiling,
Yeah,
Rainbow,
yeah.
Mickey, for giving me the prod.
Mother
Yeah,
psychic.
yeah. Mickey, as always, a massive pleasure to see you join us in the vault.
Oh, look at,
Thanks
look at
very
his
much.
drink. You got your drink, Mickey, but you haven't got your brownie.
I don't have my brownie. I'm very disappointed in that. It's in the
Gutted.
poster here.
Got it.
But I guess the interesting thing is where I was going through all those different categories of psychic at the beginning. That gives us plenty of fuel to delve into some of them one or two at a time later down the line when we want to turn to the subject and go into each one in a little bit more depth. And hope everybody enjoyed the psychic test in replace of real or fake. I'm sure I'll try and bring real or fake back next time.
Do we know what the next topic's going to be?
Yes, I have to go back to my planner though, because it's been a while since I've looked at my planner to be able to tell you.
Chapter 4, page 9, verse 16.
There we
Do you
go.
use Trello?
So, the next episode, or the next Monte Zone, is going to be entitled Message from Zimbabwe.
Oh, UFOs?
I'm not going to say any more. Message from Zimbabwe.
Message from Zimbabwe.
Is that to do with the
The
place
children?
cut out of the ground?
The what?
The
The
school.
church that's cut out of the ground.
No.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, it's-
Ethiopia.
Oh, okay.
It's the thing that Monty and Mickey are saying about.
The children that saw the UFO and the aliens,
Yeah.
met the aliens.
A lot of people know about it in the world of ufology, but what I'll be bringing on the next Monty Zone is a trip down that whole incident and giving you some information about where a lot of the kids that were involved in it are still talking to each other today and still being interviewed, and their story 25 years on, and how as adults it hasn't really changed. But we're going to delve into that because it's one of the most interesting cases of encounter of the fifth kind or fourth kind, I believe. No, fifth kind.
I'll be able to use
I have
Google
to wait
Earth.
a whole month. A whole month.
A whole month. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you're going to have to wait. Yeah.
Hang on, why are we waiting for a whole month? Sorry, have I missed something there?
The Monty Zone. The
It's
next
monthly.
Monty Zone.
Oh, is it monthly?
And by the time we get to it's monthly, yeah, it's the last Friday of every month. By the time we get to the next Monty Zone, hopefully, G will be married.
No.
Oh, God love.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. The Twilight Zone then.
Yes, on that note, actually, I need to look at what the date will be for March. So, just to keep everybody
This will be the
cleared up.
last Monty Zone as with
Single G.
with G
I'm a
being.
single G. I'm a single G.
Yeah. Single G. Yeah.
Does
So
that mean once you're married, you're going to be GGs?
no, but I will be adding a name to my name. So part of my name is going to be changed to Marley. So
Aww.
Very good.
yeah,
Marley.
G Marley. So the next Monte Zone is going to be on Friday, the 31st of March.
Oh, right at the end.
So it'll be a good week. So yeah, we've got unfortunately 5 weeks to go to wait for that one. The next Monte Zone after that's a really difficult one for us to research, but yeah.
What's that one?
That one's entitled The Dark Organization.
Oh, is that to do with that, the Illuminati?
It's to do with sub-governments within governments and secret societies and stuff like that. So, and that's becoming more and more apparent. We'll be talking about conspiracy theories around COVID and the world pandemic.
Oh, if there's ever a live stream that's going to turn this channel off, it's going to be that one.
New World Order.
Yeah.
Just flick the switch to the...
Oh, where's that channel gone?
That would be really interesting, though.
It's a good job I'm not monetized, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
because we've got 2 months to go. I'm hoping that I can gather some information to do some real proper exposing of people.
Oh,
That
God.
doesn't sound good.
That sounds worse.
Rephrase.
Oh yeah, rephrase. Some revealing of people.
That's not no, JCB digging.
Some undressing people and making them stand while
This is not OnlyFans.
It's going down rapidly.
I told you not to come into my brain.
Oh, God. Escape.
Thank you for the congratulations in chat, Ian Hart. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I will
So
be.
when's the big day?
The big day is on March 22nd. So really, really excited. For the last year, my life has just all been about this. For the last 4 months, I've obviously taken a bit of a sabbatical from YouTube just to plan and deal with the stress of organizing the wedding. But no, I'm super, super excited for the wedding. Had my stag weekend already with Monte and Mazza. Got another little stag do planned tomorrow night. And then it's just the couple of days of the wedding, and it's going to be really fun. And obviously Monty's my best man, and we went and had our suits fitted this week, and
So good.
it's all cool. So yeah, and so when we come back on the 31st of March on Friday for the next Monte Zone message from Zimbabwe, I will be married.
Might even have a couple of pictures.
Hey.
A couple of pictures of the wedding share.
Yeah. So also thank you to Kevin for popping along. Thank you to Healing Hearts for all your contributions. Stealth Andy Steeth, thank you, mate, for coming along. Mazima Bob, thank you to you. And of course, thank you to my Wrench Smiler Rainbow. Our joiners in the studio, Mickey and Crystal Karen. Thanks for coming along. It's always great to see you guys. And that's the end of the February edition of the Monte Zone. We hope you enjoyed that. And we'll see you at the end of March.
Everybody wave.
Bye.
Cheers.
I can't do it.